Israel's military has approved plans for an expanded operation in the Gaza Strip. As part of the plan approved by Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir, Israeli soldiers would move into areas where Israel believes Hamas is holding the remaining living hostages. No other details about the plan or a timeline have been released, but it comes just days after Israel's security cabinet approved plans for the takeover of Gaza City. The plan, however, has exposed a rift between the military and the government. Zamir previously warned that the plan could endanger the lives of the hostages and further stretch the military. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu responded via a post on X, saying that if he objected to the plans, he could resign. The statement comes as global outrage has been growing over the continuously rising civilian death toll in Gaza. In the latest of almost daily such incidents, local health officials reported that on Wednesday, dozens of Palestinians seeking aid were again killed by Israeli gunfire.
Ahead of a historic meeting between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin, a virtual summit took place with Trump, Ukrainian and European leaders. Following the summit, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said the top priority for the meeting was a ceasefire, something he says Trump agreed with.
Я сказав президенту Сполучених Штатів Америки і всім нашим європейським колегам, Путін блефує. Він старається натиснути перед зустрічю на Алясці, на всіх напрямках українського фронту. Росія намагається зобразити, що спроможна окупувати всю Україну. Безумовно, це їх бажання.
According to German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, European leaders were jointly trying to steer the Alaska meeting between Trump and Putin in the right direction.
In Alaska müssen grundlegende europäische und ukrainische Sicherheitsinteressen gewahrt bleiben. Das war die Botschaft, die wir heute als Europäerinnen und Europäer dem amerikanischen Präsidenten Trump mit auf den Weg gegeben haben. Und ich kann sagen, wir waren uns sowohl in der Bewertung der Ausgangslage als auch in dem erreichbaren Ziel.
Trump described the upcoming Alaska talks as setting the table for a second meeting which would include both Putin and Zelensky.
Will Russia face any consequences if Vladimir Putin does not agree to stop the war after your meeting on Friday?
Yes, they will. Yeah.
What will the consequences
there will be
be? Sanctions, tariffs?
There will be, I don't have to say, there will be very severe consequences, yes. That will go rapidly.
When asked what the format of a second meeting would be, Trump suggested it would either be bilateral or trilateral, depending on whether Zelensky and Putin wanted the US president there.
I think we'll actually get Democrat support.
Russian strikes killed at least 6 and injured 15 just days ahead of truce talks between US President Donald Trump and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin. 4 were killed in the Kherson region, including 2 civilians in a car. Kherson's governor said the strikes hit and damaged residential areas and infrastructure, such as a high-rise building, 5 houses, a cell tower, and several vehicles. Attacks in the Donetsk region killed 2 and injured another 10. Moscow launched at least 49 Shahed-type drones overnight, with Ukrainian air defences shooting down 32. Meanwhile, Ukrainian drones hit an oil pumping station in Russia's Bryansk region overnight, sparking a fire. Emergency services were sent to the scene. The strikes come as Putin and Trump are set to meet in Alaska on Friday as part of US efforts to reach a ceasefire deal.
Wildfires across Europe are causing massive damage and the evacuation of thousands as a heatwave scorches the southern part of the continent. Firefighters battle to control wildfires on the outskirts of Greece's third largest city of Patras. 7 major wildfires forced multiple evacuations, destroying homes and businesses. High winds hindered firefighting efforts on nearby islands, where authorities were on standby to evacuate tourist resorts. Other severe fires burned in the western part of Greece's mainland and on the island of Chios. In bordering Albania, wildfires burned forests, houses and killed at least 1 person. Several villages have been evacuated as the wildfires continue to affect parts of the country. Authorities say around 30 fires are endangering residents and burning forest areas. Albanian officials say they mobilised around 1,000 firefighters, army personnel and local staff to fight the flames. In Spain, thousands are facing evacuation orders as wildfires burn across the Iberian Peninsula. Firefighters have largely contained a blaze outside Madrid that broke out on Monday night. The fire killed a man and affected over 1,000 hectares of land. Several people have been arrested by Spanish officials as the alleged perpetrators of fires that have broken out. In Portugal, emergency services are battling a series of wildfires amid another heat wave. Authorities there said 3 major fires that started over the weekend were of concern. Around 2,000 firefighters are on the ground to try to tackle the flames, with more than 700 working to control a fire in Trancoso. An extreme weather alert was extended until Friday throughout mainland Portugal. Italian firefighters are tackling a wildfire on Mount Vesuvius, where fires have been blazing since Friday. Planes drop water over the flames hundreds of times to contain the wildfire. Europe is warming faster than any other continent, according to the EU Copernicus Institute, and wildfires have massively impacted the continent over the summer. The Stop Destroying Video Games petition has reached over 1.4 million signatures across the European Union. If validated, the European Commission will have to examine the initiative and decide whether or not to present a proposal to the European Parliament aimed at preventing video game distributors from blocking their titles.
So it is a form of kind of planned obsolescence. Many games, I can send you a list, there are about 1,000 of them that we just researched a couple of months ago, where they have an online component. And that online component, when it gets turned off by the publisher, not editor, but the publisher of the video game, that game is unplayable.
Those who began the petition gave the example of the online racing game The Crew, launched in 2014 by the French company Ubisoft, which has not been accessible since 2024. They denounce a growing practice that, in their view, undermines consumer protection and destroys cultural heritage.
All we are asking is, when the game is turned off, so that it has an end-of-life plan. So it remains reasonably playable. We don't expect it to be completely playable with all the bells and whistles, just that the core of the game is still playable for a person who legally bought it.
Video Games Europe, the lobbyist for the video games industry, said in a statement published in July that shutting down an online game must be an option for companies when it is no longer commercially viable. They added that private servers are not an alternative, as there would be no data protection, no removal of illegal content, and no fight against dangerous content. They also assert that this would increase the cost of creating video games.
Zdi se mi ključno, da smo v 21. stoletju vendarle pripravljeni na ta civilizacijski korak, da damo ljudem možnost, poudarjam možnost, da sami avtonomno odločijo, če in ko želijo zaključiti svojo zgodbo.
Ta zakon je pravičen, vsakomur omogoča konec življenja po njegovi lastni izbiri, bodisi da se želi nekaj pomoči pri skrajševanju, daje pa tudi možnost tistim, ki si želijo naraven konec življenja, da si vnaprej zagotovijo tak konec življenja. In ta zakon ne prinaša obveznosti ali prisile nikomur.
Zelo verjetno je, da bodo številni zdravniki podali ugovor vesti in na koncu se lahko morda zgodi situacija, nekje podobna situaciji, kot jo imajo v Švici, da to specialno opravljajo samo določeni zdravniki in ti v večji meri.